But anyways, we were told that this city is going to come back. And instead, he took away our jobs. He took away my money. I had to struggle through the years, people not paying rent. And it was just a struggle. And I
Giving tickets.
And I have to go pay my taxes this year. And so do you, Ezra.
Yes, I do.
And Sawyer, you don't have to pay your taxes. You know why?
Because
you are so...
I have to pay
no, you
taxes.
don't. You look so pretty.
I have to
Just
pay.
show them your
You
hair.
know what, Heshy? You testify for me when I don't pay.
Anyways, I want to start the show. Sawyer, welcome back to the show. You look so pretty and so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you say that every week, but you do. And my handsome co-host guy.
He's blushing.
He's not blushing. He's a real man, okay? Ezra, the criminal lawyer Levy.
Well, it's great to be back.
You know,
I missed you guys
Ezra,
last week.
I got 5 days and I'm off of this, whatever you call it, this probation garbage.
yes.
And also, what is that?
In German, the contemplation of dismissal.
No, but also I have to stay away from the pig.
Oh, the order of protection?
Yeah, so I went to synagogue to visit somebody in a holy ceremony that his daughter was getting married, and the pig was there, and it was in the center, and I didn't say anything. I just mentioned to everybody, you're all idiots for being in the center. Anyways,
This show is sponsored by Plaza Auto Leasing. They are not only a leasing company, but also a dealership. You get the best of both worlds, the flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There is no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal sales representative that can handle most of the transaction from start to finish without you even having to step foot in their office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will even deliver your car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000. That's 718-975-9000. You can also check out their website at www.plazaautoleasing.com. Located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue N. Call 718-975-9000 and become a pal today. And don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you.
718-975-9000. I just want you to know.
I got to tell you a story about a car. Do you know that I had my catalytic converter stolen in Far Rockaway? I was there for an OFRF over the weekend for a family affair, and somebody went under my car 5 a.m. And shout out to Shomrim. And
that car is from like 1921.
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's an old car. It's a Honda Pilot.
Okay.
But somebody went and stole, and I found that they're stealing a lot of catalytic converters from a lot of cars, and especially the older ones, because they're made out of. They're coated with platinum on the inside, so they're not even selling them apparently for parts.
I'm looking for one if anybody needs. I need a new one for my car.
But a shout out to the 101 Precinct and Shomrim, and who else did I say I was going to give a shout out to?
We don't know.
Oh yeah, my amazing mechanic. I'm gonna give his phone number later.
We got it.
No. He's amazing.
Let's
he's amazing.
go. The people are waiting.
My new mechanic.
I have
Instead
somebody
of charging me $900 to $2,000, he's charging me for a used part to put it in to make my car run again. $700.
Seth doesn't want to know this. He has to call into the show.
Big, huge difference. Why? Do you have a mechanic that you're giving?
I have a good mechanic.
You have a good better than my guy Black.
Much better.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give out the number later
Good.
if everybody wants it. Go ahead.
Next commercial.
We have Green Line Building Solutions, Preservation and Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, Environmental Control Board, Settlements, Building Consulting, Violation Removal, Construction Management, Owner Compliance, Contracting, Licensed Department of Building Expediters, Designs, Professionals for all your building solutions. 202 Forster Avenue. You can reach Green Line Building Solutions at 718-871-0382. That's 718-871-0382.
By the way, guys, I am now investigating the Department of Buildings myself. There's first of all, a lot of them are prejudiced, and I overheard an Inspector Spina who was demoted to a lower office. I remember him as a loser inspector. Then he became a supervisor, and he wanted to become chief. And then in the end, somebody taped him, and I heard the tape, how he said all those dog Jews. Are you listening to me, Ezra?
I'm hearing you.
The dog Jews, we shouldn't let them build and open up their crap holes, which meant the synagogues, and stop them. They demoted him, and now somehow he cried and got himself back up to be a chief of some organization. Right. How is the Department of Buildings, how are you people not out there shouting? And I'm listening this from other inspectors who are prejudiced not only to the Jews and the blacks and the Chinese. We are letting these DOP people just torturing us. And most of them don't even have more than 2 years experience before they become an inspector. And you know what their experience is? That they worked in some construction company as a helper and they passed the test. Really, 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 really. It's just
I could
terrible.
get a job.
You could. Anyways, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because your councilman and other people are not doing anything. But go ahead.
The next person up is Ezra Levy, the attorney offices of Ezra Levy. Ezra, would you like to tell us your phone number?
917-755-1187.
Tell it to us again.
917-755-1187.
I just gave Ezra-
Call, text, email.
I just
And
gave
she
Ezra.
has him on speed dial.
But it's not that. I have another guy who just called Ezra, took care of him. I met him back on the job. He was very pleased.
Great.
He says, thank you for giving me Ezra. I said, of course, that's what we do. We know how to get the right people to do the right thing and know the system. Thank you, Ezra, for helping another young man.
Thank you.
Ezra,
And
you just got a shout out from Cleveland saying, welcome back. Hi, Ezra.
I want to thank, first of all, thank you. I missed you guys last week.
You know, we all prayed for your
And I
son.
want to thank you. I thank you for your praise. I also want to thank Heshy and also our producer for your multiple phone calls checking on my son during the week.
We were
Thank
checking
you.
on you because we know what it is to go through that kind of
But thank you.
pressure.
Baruch Hashem is doing well.
And I know you
That's
drink.
right. Not anymore.
You told me you drink.
I do, but my wife doesn't want me to.
Okay.
Baruch's Barber Shop.
I don't want to tell you all what Ezra told me we're going to do before the show, but
That's a different story.
Okay.
Baruch's Barbershop, located at 108 Avenue I. You can reach Baruch's Barbershop at 718-758-5187. That's 718-758-5187. Or you can call, text, or WhatsApp Baruch personally to schedule your appointment at 347-845-9131. That's 347-845-9131, the official singing barber of Heshy Tischler.
I love Baruch, and he gave our producer a haircut today, and he told me, Heshy, you can't go into the show with a haircut like that. You look like a turkey. I said, what does that mean, a turkey? Do I look like a turkey, Ezra?
No.
I love you, Ezra. I wasn't going to ask.
Attorney's
I was thinking of
office.
some other animal, but not a turkey.
Attorney's Office of James Meadows, highly ranked traffic lawyer, former criminal lawyer, dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State. James handles all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York. Speeding, red lights, cell phone, stop sign, failure to yield, and improper turns are traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points, increased insurance rates, suspension of your driver's license, and even being arrested. The law office of James Meadows is your best chance of beating your traffic ticket. Call. You can reach him at 845-842-5387. His cell phone, his personal cell phone, 917-856-1247. That's 917-856-1247, or my favorite number, 845-TICKETS.
By the way, so all the commercials that you preach or speak, you know what I mean, all pop up on the screen, and all the numbers and all the emails are there. So guys, look at it, or you can always play it back, or you can always call
Screenshot
us,
it.
or just enoughheshy@gmail.com, and I'll give you their information. And
Local, international, travel, car rental, hotel, you got it all. You need to reach Traveler's Choice. You can reach Joseph and Devorah Leifer at 212-868-8698. They will handle all your travels, local, international. All you got to do is give them a call, 212-868-8698. Traveler's Choice is your only choice for travel.
I love them. Joseph and Devorah Life at 212-868-8698. Now, I want
One
to...
more commercial. Attorney's Office of Abraham Hochender for all your closing and contractual needs, whether you're a buyer or seller, need help clearing up a title, buying or selling a home, whether commercial or residential, for the best legal assistance any present or future property owner can get. The Law Office of Abraham Hochender. Call the Law Office of Abraham Hochender today, 347-435-3402. That's 347-435-3402.
By the way, you can call into the show, 718-289-0070. 718-289-0070. We're going to pop that up throughout the show a couple times.
Shout outs to Meira Nava, Lila Tamar, Dov and Shani Hyken, my beautiful Shoshana, your friend Ellie, Sergeant Peters, and anybody else? And
How about my son Nisim was doing well? And
Right.
my daughter Leah who's going to have her second birthday on Sunday.
shout out to his son and daughter. What are their names again?
Nisim and Leah.
Nisim
And a
Leah.
shout out to your
Beautiful.
wife. What's your wife's name?
Leora.
Leora, who has 19 children with you. I love her. I know the numbers back up because I got
Why
down
do
to
you think
5.
he wanted the week
That's
off?
right,
It
last-
wasn't his son.
last
He
week-
was
right.
working on 20.
I got you.
I was working on 20.
I want you. I want you all to know, ladies and gentlemen, that we are an organization here of love, and whenever we speak bad about somebody like Carmen
It's because
Yeager,
we love them.
We love them. I hate Carmen.
Oh, stop. Your mic is going to get
I-
cut
it
off.
was cut
you
off.
know it's going to be rightfully cut
You
off.
know, I want everybody to know March 1st starts the signatures for district leader. Now, it's just a practice run for me because I'm running against Carmen Yeager next year, 100% head to head, this do nothing councilman. But I am going to be on the ballot. I need 2,500 signatures, 500 real signatures. But I'm going to want Sawyer, who will never show up, and you, Ezra, on a Sunday. A nice warm day. We stand there together, the three of us. We can get out 1,500, 2,500 signatures. Remember last week we had Brian Robinson on the show?
Yes, I did.
He's running for I can't wait till he wins for Congress. Oh, wow. We're going to be so powerful, and we're going to have him there. He's going to come into Borough Park, stand with me, and we're going to collect him signatures, and we're going to beat Nadler. Anyways, we're going to start the show because we have our friend Seth Barron calling in. Here's my quote. The time is always right to do what is right. It's not a complicated quote. The time is always right to do what is right. It's never time not to do things right. So do it, get it done with. Anyways, that's my quote, and it's my time, and I'm going to continue to do what's right. I'm going to continue to run. Whether people make fun of, people say, oh, Heshy, oh, you're funny. We think it's entertainment. We watch your show. I said, you don't watch my show. He says, we watch your clips because I do have 20, 30,000 hits. By the way, this week
We got to talk about what you just said before.
This week we are live on Instagram. We're live on Instagram, running whatever you call it. What's it called? Streaming. Okay. Anyways, here's my joke because we have a line. We have a call. I want to take a call before Seth calls into the show. I always make fun of Linda, and I told Linda I'm going to make fun of her this week, and it had something to do with Ezra, with his children. I took Linda, my wife, to the dentist's office, and she's all nervous, and always she hates going to the dentist. I guess like most of you. So I asked the doctor, I said, Dr. Kalman, can I, you see how it's Dr. Kalman? All the people I hate are named Kalman.
Yeah, okay.
Dr. Kalman, if I could be with her during the procedure, and Dr. Kalman agreed. As Linda sat in her chair, she remarked, like some kind of funny remark, I don't know what's worse, having root canal or having a baby. The dentist replied, well, make up your mind so I know which way to tilt the chair. Come on. That was funny. That was funny.
From Heshy, it's a pretty good one.
It was a pretty good. See, he was making fun of Linda. That's why I like the doctor. Anyways, let's take a phone call because we're going to talk to our friend Seth on the phone in a minute. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy Sawyer, my delicious friend and legal advisor Ezra Levy.
Hesh, this is Abraham from Rockland County. How are you tonight?
Hello, Avram. How are you? All
good, Hesh.
By the way,
Hesh, I got to talk to you about this governor's race.
I know. I want to bring that up
I'm very
too.
concerned about what's going on in the direction of the state. I know that we are in trouble as people here, and we only have one option as landsmen. I think this gentleman from Suffolk County, this young man, this veteran Lee Zeldin, is our only hope to bring this state out of where we are today in this terrible, terrible situation. And Hesh, I like the Giuliani kid, but as you and I know, he ain't going to get there. I like this Rob Astorino. He's a nice young man from Westchester. And this Mr.
Gibbons, Derek Gibbons.
The new guy that jumped in today. I don't even know his name.
Wilson.
He got a lot of money.
Wilson? But also Governor Pataki might run.
What's his name?
Wilson. He's
Pataki ain't
But
jumping
I
in
heard
here.
Pataki's going to run
as
as
old
a
as
Democrat.
Moses. We all know that.
Never will.
Yeah. But you know what? First of all, I'm very proud of you guys over there in Rockland County. You have a new district, a Jewish district, and I thought a couple of Jews were going to run, but now I hear there might be some infighting. But I hope you guys.
We have a lot of infighting here, but that's like it is anywhere in this state.
I know.
But unless we solve this bail reform issue, unless we give the judges the discretion to hold these criminals, we're never gonna succeed as a state. We're gonna end up like LA.
Well,
we'll end up like every blue state around here. You know what?
I want to ask Ezra. There was a guy in Times Square that punched a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah, I heard.
And he got out right away.
Yeah, thankfully the mother gave him a nice.
Doesn't make a difference, but the guy got out right away.
This is where
The mother gave him what?
the mother gave him a nice beat down. But the thing is,
The mother gave him a
Yeah,
nice
a few
beat down?
ladies. A few ladies
some
attacked
street
him.
justice. I
Mama
always
bear.
love it.
Mama bear.
But the thing is, with bail reform, it's a good idea that went terribly bad. What the idea behind bail reform is that there were a lot of
Avram,
people.
thank you for your call, Avram, and we're going to talk about your governor question in a second.
There were a lot of people who were committed petty crimes that judges will put what the judge thought was nominal bail on them. So $1,000 bail, $500 bail, minor misdemeanors. That's really the impetus behind it. Having been a public defender, I can tell you some people don't have two nickels to rob.
I know.
So that was the impetus. And again, that's a good idea. You don't want people who don't have any funds to be held in for something that.
So
most people would be out.
why
But they
bail
went way too
reform?
far.
Why
They
do
went
bail?
too far.
So why don't we
It's
change
went too
it? Say
far.
anybody who gets bail for $10,000 automatically gets an ROR.
Okay, so what they did actually is, and this is where it happened, there's been a lot of grassroots movements actually endorsed by the courts where they're bail funds. That actually the state legislature has put up money and there's grants for bail funds.
Yeah, but you have
And
to
people
fill out a lot of forms
No, you
and
don't.
you get
Actually,
lost.
it was. I will tell you, I made numerous phone calls on these when I was at legal aid. Unless it was like a domestic violence case or a felony, if for those minor misdemeanors, and even some not so minor misdemeanors, I had clients coming out that night.
Wow.
And again, they didn't put up a dime. And again, bail reform is not a bad idea. It's just been taken to such a ridiculous extent.
Because the politicians are not doing. Now, here's my governor thing, and Avram, you're right. Everybody's telling me about this Lizelle guy.
Lee Zeldin. He's great.
Zeldin.
He's great.
I got you, and I'm hearing more and more about him, and I'm going to tell you why I like
Andrew Giuliani.
Andrew Giuliani. He's just honest. I know you're saying he's a kid. I know you're saying he doesn't have a chance. But you know what? There are people that shock you. Even his father, when he first ran and lost this and we didn't think he had a chance the second time, he shocked us. I liked his father. I don't care what anybody says.
Again, Giuliani, you either love him or hate him. But he actually made, he started 20 years of prosperity in New York City.
Right.
And that can't be taken away from him. So at the same time, I honestly think whether it's Giuliani, whether it's Zeldin, whether it's Astorino,
we're gonna
the
take-
Republicans will be well served. And but one of them has to be able to take.
Well,
down
you know what?
Kathy
I'm going to ask our caller on the phone now. We have a wonderful man. He's calling into the show. His name is Seth Barron. He is, again, I want to just tell you, his book is called The Last Days of New York. It's a reporter's true tale about de Blasio, who set the stage to the ruin of New York. The Last Days of New York tell the story of a corrupt political system, and plus he has many other publications. Seth Barron, welcome to our show, the Just Enough Heshy Show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Heshy. Thanks for having me on.
Seth, forget that I read your book, and I read a lot of other stuff about you online. I not only am I impressed with you, I'm honored that you're on our show because you understand us. I mean, I think that I'm in the same way of thinking like you. I hope you're not offended like that, but I always said New York was corrupt. I was the one who went after the governor. I didn't mind fighting the mayor. And I need somebody to back us up. But we're going to ask you question number one before you start and tell us about your book, because I want you to tell us about your book. You know what the funny part about your book is? When I first saw the title, The Last Days of New York, I thought you were telling us that New York is over and these are the last days. But I see that you believe that we can come back. I know in your heart that you believe we can come back. Too bad we have to start working our way out. Who do you think will help us as governor? I know we can't do anything about mayor. What do you think? What's your opinion?
Oh, for governor? Well, I don't think Kathy Hochul is going to do a very good job.
We know that.
I don't think that Jumaane Williams will do a very good job. I could be wrong.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I don't know that much about Lee Zeldin or any of the other candidates so far. But, hopefully maybe one of them would do a better job.
What do you say about Giuliani? I know you're going to say it's his name only. We had him on the show. I've met him so many times at rallies. I just feel a connection. I feel he's one of us. He's a street guy who grew up intelligent in a good family, but he knows the little guy. He knows our problems. He knows our culture. He knows not only the Jews, the blacks, the Spanish. He's not scared of getting his hands dirty. And I can't believe a young guy like that is just with the program.
Look, I don't know enough about him to say one way or the other. I've heard very good things about him, so maybe so. Look, I'm not going to say no.
Which way do you think it's going to go, Democrat or Republican?
For the governor.
Yeah.
It's tough. It would certainly be tough. But if any year is the year for it to happen, this could be the year.
Can I follow up on that? Obviously, New York is not just a blue state; it's almost as blue as it could get, if it's short of California. Does a Republican really have any chances here? This year, there's a predicted red wave nationally, but it seems like New York's only getting more and more, far left. Does a Republican even stand a chance?
Statewide, look, it would be a tough. Like I said, it would certainly be a tough. It would be very tough. What happened in 2018? Molinaro, who I think was a great candidate, he got about 36%.
Right.
That's not so good. Now that, of course, was a big blue wave year. I don't know. It would be. I think it's going to be tough. I think it would be very hard for a Republican to win statewide at this point.
Oh my God!
Do you think, there's rumors that Governor Pataki might be making a run again. Do you think that's even something reasonable? That's even viable?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I don't know. I just can't imagine him doing it.
Right. I don't imagine him doing it. It would be foolish for him. But again, we can't. That's why you started off right away with Hochul and Jumaane Williams, because that's our way. I don't believe that Hochul has a chance this year because the Democrats are fed up, and especially what went on with this city. And I know you're going to say, well, look at what happened in the mayoral race. But we knew that.
But New York City is different.
New
than
York
the rest
City
of
is
the
a different thing. But statewide, I think that we can have a Republican. We have some great candidates from Derek Gibson to
Lee Zeldin, Rob Astorino,
and of
Andrew
course,
Giuliani.
I believe that these guys can put up and raise the money for it. I heard Wilson. Is the new guy Wilson?
Yeah, he was actually on Obama. He served in the Obama administration. Actually.
Seth, you've been watching New York for a long time, writing a lot about New York. Are we dead? Are we finished?
No, I wouldn't say that. New York's been in pretty bad straits before. I just think we're in a particularly tough spot. But it's a question of will. Are the people going to sit back and let themselves just get shafted and steamrolled by the progressives and their agenda, or are we going to stand up and change things?
No.
But it's a very, very difficult road ahead. That's all I can say.
Is this worse than the Dinkins days? I grew up with Koch, Dinkins, and then until things changed on the Giuliani and Bloomberg administrations. But it seems that the difference is, you mentioned the progressives have been taken over, and it seems the progressives have not only they want to exert, not only are they putting up their own ideology out there, but they're using government power in order to impose on everyone else. So it seems like they destroy the city and try to control the city at the same time.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Here's the way I see it in terms of crime. When Giuliani came in, okay, things were really bad. We had 2,000 murders a year. Mm-hmm. But he had a whole toolbox, a whole toolkit of law enforcement tools at his disposal. He was able to mobilize the police. He was able to, fight crime vigorously. What's happened over the last 10 years is that at different levels, both the state level, the city level, in the courts, the progressives have methodically destroyed the machinery of the criminal justice system. So, for instance, bail reform, discovery reform, which make it very difficult for prosecutors to
I'm a career defense
attorney. To wage a case.
I'll tell you something. I'm a career defense attorney. The discovery reform, I'm not as even as standing back as as a reasonable citizen. Until the discovery reform rules came about, we had the worst discovery rules for defendants in the country. So, again, I'm not as bothered as the discovery rules. I know there's some disclosures that used to not be made, especially about people's addresses and contact information, but defense attorneys always had investigators at their disposal anyway. So I'm not, as opposed to the other ones.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, maybe in New York City the new discovery rules aren't so bad. But if you're a smaller prosecutor upstate, you're underfunded. They don't have the resources to get everything together and turn it over like immediately or however quickly they have to. So they're as likely as not to decline cases. And this, in New York City, gives them an excuse to decline cases.
Seth, you and I, we're grown men, family men. I'm going to ask you a crazy question now, because what I saw go on over the last year and a half during the pandemic, I really, as a father, grandfather, uncle, foster father, I'm talking just a man who's been through it all. And first of all, I don't agree with you that New York should suffer through. We were prosperous. We were prosperous, like you said. Things were going good. There was no reason for us to be in a decline. There was no reason. And this is, I'm saying is, ex-mayor de Blasio. Was he mentally ill, what he did to this city? He did it. There's no question he did it. You yourself say that in the book. And we were corrupt. I mean, is he nuts, or did he do it on purpose?
Well, look, he was certainly the leading edge. And he was the mayor, so sure, he takes the heat. But he came in with a whole slew of other progressives, and they were representing a whole host of corrosive influences. The public sector unions, the consultant class, the advocacy class. There were a whole lot of other progressives who came in too. Look, he was in service to this warped ideology, which I don't even know if he believed or didn't believe, but it's what he's hooked himself to, of equity and diversity and all of that, and this whole principle that the city is riven by inequality, that it's the job of government to fix, and that it's divided racially. So this was his hobby horse, and it's a good grift if what you're trying to do is satisfy your primary constituency, which is the consultants and the real estate industry behind them, who are indifferent as to what kind of ideology you're promoting, as long as, there's more building and more deals being made, which is fine. The city is based on that.
He destroyed the I mean, when he came into business, the construction and the building and all of them were doing great. He couldn't stop them right away, but his second term, he destroyed.
Well, that's because of just regulations.
I mean, it's he himself. Remember, he is, Seth, he's the boss. Basically, the buck, like you said, he has to take the blame. So there's nobody higher than him. He can tell all the progressives and the leftists and the right, he can tell everybody, jump in the lake, I'm the boss, I'm the mayor. When legislation comes, I'll decide if I want to veto it or not, like the 800 illegal immigrants that are now allowed to vote. He has the right to do things. And he didn't, because he was, like you said, scared of the progressives, scared of these people. He wanted to get a high office. That is not the way a mayor should act. In the same way with this mayor, Eric Adams, which I'm going to ask you next. Here's a man who says the mask mandates have to continue, but he doesn't believe that they're needed. I saw him at a party 2 days ago, no masks, crowded around with a bunch of people, we're getting gifts, Hochul, no masks. Here they are, they're able to, because it's election season. So election season looks like there's no more COVID, even though, Seth, COVID this week alone is down 33%. Less than 0.0001 are being blamed on COVID deaths. And even then, most people have underlying illnesses, of 4 of them. And they're still continuing to push this agenda. I mean, it must be we're stupid, or they just, he's the boss, and Mayor Eric Adams can do whatever he wants. What do you think of Adams, and do you think he's going to give us a good run?
Well, listen, I've been very critical of Adams since, before he was elected mayor. I think he does say a lot of things that are what people want to hear.
But
I saw his testimony. I saw his testimony in Albany. He sounds very strong. He wants to get guns off the streets. I've spoken to politicians who say, yeah, he's the real deal. He really wants to do it. Now, whether he really wants to do it or not is another question, and whether he's capable of doing it is the second question. I hope that when he says that he wants to crack down on violent crime, that he means it. I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. I have my doubts.
Seth, what bothers me about Eric Adams is he says he'll talk about both sides of the coin at the same day to two different audiences. So, which one's the true Eric Adams?
Well, that's kind of the big question. And yes, I have noted this. He, in a way, he sounds a lot like Jumaane Williams by saying that, fairness and public safety can go hand in hand. Well, sure, they can, but it's a question of emphasis. You have to remember, Eric Adams has a long, long history of saying all kinds of things. For decades, he was in the NYPD, and his entire career was built on savaging the NYPD.
Correct.
And complaining about them, testifying against them. One weird thing that Eric Adams did that a lot of people don't know about is in 1998, he went up to Poughkeepsie and demanded that the feds open an investigation to prove that Tawana Brawley really was raped.
You serious?
By the Dutchess
I
County.
did not know
yes.
That I did not know.
It's very strange. Even just a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, he said that the reason there's so many guns the reason there's so many guns in the black community is because white men in suits are bringing them in. Well, we know, and who's stopping and searching them? Just absurd stuff.
Yeah, well, look, I have my doubts about Eric Adams, and he's already been. His racist comments have been publicized already.
Seth, I heard that you said that you predicted that Adams will be worse than De Blasio, and now I'm scared.
Well, you know what? I said that when he made some dumb comments a couple of weeks ago. He made some. I guess I didn't really like those comments that came out where he was talking about the crackers.
But that was during the campaign, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was during the campaign. But he said something else recently. Oh, I didn't like that he was talking about himself in the third person. He made some outrageous comments, and yeah, it seemed like it kind of seemed like maybe we would be at some point we may miss De Blasio, which I think actually could still happen.
No, never. I would never miss him. But you know what? I watched Adams on an interview recently when a reporter asked him a question, and all he was bitching about was, I'm a black guy, and if you ask this question, right. He's too busy still being black, which I have no problem that somebody tells everybody he's black, or I'm getting a prejudice against, or I'm white, or I'm Chinese. But here's the mayor. The mayor has to represent everybody. He cannot be into his own little crybaby, because we're going to knock him whether he's black or fat or skinny or stupid. Whatever he is, somebody's going to come after him. He can't seem to take a reporter giving him criticism, and he keeps blaming the reporters. Oh, you're making comments because I'm black.
And actually, he did that during the campaign also. He did that during the campaign also. He was calling Curry Slew a racist anytime somebody asked him a hard question. So...
That's true. He does play that card very quickly and too readily. And yes, Heshy, you're right. That was the moment when I said that, when he told the Post reporter very, very high-handedly that he didn't understand that why he's getting so much grief because he's black, and all of these reporters who are white and the editors are white, they don't understand. And that just seemed frankly, a lot of guff. That was absurd. Any mayor is going to have to take the heat a little bit. That really made me question. Look, if the mayor can't take it, and it's just going to start throwing out, hiding behind his race when nobody has said anything about it, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, but isn't that the society? The progressives have already just done for us with all this equity garbage that they've been throwing at us for the last 6 to 8 years?
Yeah, I would say so. It's kind of infected everything, and that's pretty much, that's the outlook at this point. And every single politician, that's all they talk about. So, it gets extremely tedious. I mean, yet you have to tune it out after a while, which most normal people do. They just don't pay attention. And I'm talking about black people too, black, white. The only people who talk this way are people who are paid to or who get something out of it. And that's largely politicians, the advocate class, the diversity, equity, inclusion, facilitators.
But it's also like on college campuses, isn't it? I mean, there's indoctrination going on college campuses as well.
Professors, yes, professors. I mean, these are the people who are paid to talk about it. But I would say that the normal people in New York find it boring and incomprehensible.
Well, it's on the news every day. I want to switch a little bit gears here a little bit, and I want to ask you. I never believed in COVID. I know you're going to get angry at me, and a lot of people do. I never believed it. Never wore the mask. Went out and fought the city. My people in my community. I did take the vax shot. I know I'm a double crosser. I took them both, and I still believe that people have the right to do whatever they want. But I do believe in herd immunity. I do believe people get sick and they get better, and you have to take care of yourself, Seth. My community here has not done anything for the last year and a half in masks and 6 foot and stores being closed. We took our fines, even though we're stupid that we're quiet. Do you believe this COVID? Do you believe it's over? I mean, I think it's done. And right now, look, election season's here, and everybody can do whatever they want. They're touching, they're kissing, they're jumping with each other, they're handing over checks to one another. It's all of a sudden ended, and you'll see once the election season's over, COVID is back because of money. What is your opinion on this COVID? Some people say conspiracy, some people say it's real.
Well, look, I mean, it's clear that there is a virus that gets transmitted, and if you have certain pre-existing conditions or if you're very elderly, it can really take a toll on you. On the other hand, I live with my mother-in-law. She's 86. She's not in great health. She got it. She had she had the sniffles. She got over it. I live in a building with a lot of very old people. Not one of them has died. Nobody's gotten really sick. So I question a lot of the grand narrative about it. I think it's certainly been used for political ends. I think there's a lot of mistruths that we've been told about it. I think it's been used for as a power wedge. It seems like it's going away. But at the same time, there's going to be a hardcore people who, I think there's certain people who really like it.
Yeah.
They really like walking around with a mask. They like telling other people to wear a mask.
I know. Actually, screaming at other people. Even look, the CDC is withdrawing its standing request to the FDA that the PCR tests, they believe that the PCR tests are fake science and only true. They were just for fear mongering. They understand that, and I said that from the beginning. The PCR tests were no good, and I'm the one who came up with doing the real 24-hour tests, and that's why my community went from red to yellow. But it's not the point. You think, see, I go visit people every Shabbos, Saturday. And I go to the hospital and I go visit other people. I just had an old lady now, like my mother. She was 94 years old. I lived with her. I took care of her. Yes, when she got pneumonia or sick, and it just happened, she was in the house. Yeah, she died quickly. Older people have underlying or have to be careful. I have now a 96-year-old woman I visit every week for the last 30-something years. And when she got sick now, we took her to the hospital, and we didn't want to leave her there because we knew they'd kill her. We brought her home. We put her in a hospital bed. The children were there day and night, and she's better. She's smiling 3 weeks later. And I went to visit her all the time. People could go visit, but you have to be careful. You have to take care of yourself. You're right. Your mother-in-law, and older, you have to be more careful when you're older. You and I can walk out without a coat, which is foolish. I tell all the young people today. You walk out without a coat, you're not getting COVID. You're getting sick. You're stupid. So My point to you is that is there conspiracies? Is our government taking advantage of the little guy like me? I'm tired of it. 125 years ago, I didn't need to get I didn't need permission to go fishing or to own property or to start a business or build a home or even get married. Even open up a lemonade stand today, you need permission. Now they're constantly blackmailing us, extorting us. If that's all they want, give us a big fine in the beginning, like our taxes, but they keep torturing us and breaking us. And look at Canada. What's your opinion on Canada, Seth?
My opinion is that Canada is taking its cues from the United States. I don't think they would have done what they're doing if they hadn't been told to by the Biden administration. I think that, the truckers up there weren't really doing anything. They stopped blowing their horns when they were told it was obnoxious. So what were they doing exactly? What they did was they embarrassed Trudeau.
So my question is this:
they embarrassed
Seth, if I could, because there's a convoy that started moving left California, is headed towards D.C.
Is that true?
It's headed towards D.C.
I can't believe it.
It's supposed to be there, I think, March 5th or something, around the time that Biden's supposed to make the State of the Union address.
I'm going to be there.
My question is, do you expect? I mean, what bothers me a lot is, our politicians, even on the right wing politicians, haven't been crying and taking Trudeau up to task. What's going on in Ukraine, every day we have politicians condemning Putin, but nobody's condemned Trudeau. Are we expecting this?
No.
Are you expecting the same thing here now? Are we going to have these type of crackdowns? I mean, Canada doesn't have the same First Amendment rights that we have here. We do have a deeply rooted First Amendment.
Look, here's the thing, and the right wing is being very naive, and they should have learned from January 6th that we don't live in the type of country where everybody can protest and everybody's right to protest is the same. Haven't you learned this yet? The BLM protests, they can riot and do whatever they want. The January 6th protests, you cross a line, you're going to prison for a long time.
Right.
We don't live, the country is not what it was. If you want to go and protest outside, the White House from a right-wing perspective, look, you can do it, but just don't be naive. This isn't, it's not the same rules for everybody. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they declare all of the truck convoy an insurrection and, do what they did in Canada. I think this isn't even like 10, 15, 20 years ago. We're in a different world now.
You'd say that, I mean, because just from a legal perspective, Canada does not have the First Amendment built into a bill of its own government, such as the Bill of Rights. Here, they're sacrosanct. I agree with you. Some forms of association are more accepted by the government than others, and I agree with you about January 6th as opposed to be contrasted to BLM is a perfect example. But do you really think that we're going to get the same type of crackdown where Biden or some governor was going to call the National Guard in on these truckers?
God forbid.
Why not? I mean, they already declared some kind of state emergency in D.C. They're ringing the Capitol with more fencing.
Really?
Yeah, they have done that.
I mean, did you saw the inauguration? There was nobody there. It was just like army troops that looked like North Korea.
Well, that's because nobody voted for Biden.
Well, I hope
that too.
I hope Trump wins again, and he will open everything up for me. By the way, I hate District Attorney Bragg. You know about this guy? Is that his name?
Yeah, Alvin Bragg.
Alvin Bragg. You know about Alvin Bragg?
Sure, but you know what? Today, I all of a sudden changed my mind about him.
Me too. I love you. I love you. Go ahead. Tell everybody about it.
Well, apparently, like two of his top prosecutors quit because he said he doesn't want to pursue the case against Trump.
Well, but that case was started by I was very happy to hear about it, but that case was really started by Letitia James and Bragg's predecessor. I mean,
Vance.
Vance. I mean, Vance made no bones about it. That he was going after Trump, and Letitia James makes no bones about it. She's going after Trump. Bragg is not a part of the political. He's not. say what you want about Bragg, but he's not part of that political
Well, you
class.
said you hated Bragg
I do hate
because
him.
of the
I do
bail
hate him.
reform.
I think he's a terrible prosecutor. But just, I just think he finally made a good
Well,
decision.
listen, here's the thing. Maybe he's good to his word. He doesn't like to prosecute. He doesn't want to send people to jail. He doesn't want to abuse the prosecutorial power. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. He doesn't want to do it to Trump either. Look, the whole case against Trump is all based on supposed alleged crimes that occurred before he was president.
Correct.
Well, if that's true, how come they weren't investigating them then?
That's correct.
Nobody cared about them.
And
It's
also
strictly a
statute.
politically motivated prosecution.
And it's purely tax. At most, it's a tax penalty, and under for anyone else.
Can I ask you
I
something?
think,
Yes.
and that's I think. Yeah, so in that case, I think even Bragg saw the handwriting on the wall. And the truth was, Vance indicted, the Trump, I guess Trump's business associates, understanding that
Yeah.
whoever takes it over is going to probably get rid of it.
I think so. I think they know that this is. I think even Tish James knows that this is all going to get. It's basically harassment.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to uncover anything. They're going to uncover some minor. I'm sorry. What is this about? He overstated the value of some things when applying for loans. Who the hell? I mean, what business doesn't do that? This is absurd. Nobody goes to jail for that. Nobody gets even indicted. I mean, come on. This would all wind up just with a fine or getting it thrown out on appeal or just bogged down. It's totally ridiculous.
I agree.
It's strictly political. This is like what they did in Stalin's Russia or in Putin's Russia, for that matter, just going after your enemies.
Well, Seth.
So good for Bragg.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the guy. I think he's a terrible DA.
So can I just ask one question?
Well, I want
know-
to ask him because we're coming to
Go
the
ahead.
end of the show. I wanted to ask him, Seth, I have your book here. I'm showing you the last days of New York. First of all, we can get it on Amazon and anywhere.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Sure.
But in your book, you talk about a subject that I was reading about the cops. Now, tell me, I mean, really, I'm laughing. Can we really defund the cops? Can we really, just because we took off $1 billion, these cops are smarter. They know how to get the money back. They know how to play the overtime games. I know they're a very powerful organization. I mean, are the cops good? Are the cops bad? Are we defunding them? I mean, as you know, Eric Adams, they hated Eric Adams, and now they like Eric Adams. I mean, what's going on with them? I mean, tell us about the police and what you write in your book about them.
Look, I mean, cops are an instrument. So are the cops do I love the cops in Ottawa? No, not particularly. New York City cops, I think, are generally pretty good. There's actually not that much abuse. A lot of that has gone down over the last 40 or 50 years. If you look at, officer-involved shootings, there's much less corruption. They professionalize the police a lot. I think the New York City Police Department is very good. It's a professional police force. Look, you can defund the police. All you're going to wind up doing is alienating them, and you're going to see more crime. So what's the point? They can try. You're just going to wind up with the city going to hell. So, unfortunately, we've got a lot of people in the city who don't have their neighbors' best interests at heart.
Yeah,
That's true.
Well, I know there's a lot of prejudicial people in the police department, and we just don't
honestly,
see it.
not as much as people think there are.
Well,
Messi says these,
hold on.
these leftist asshats are, of course, ringing the White House and Capitol with fencing and soldiers.
I don't believe it. So they're going to close off the whole D.C. Against us again?
This is their new strategy. They're at war with the population, and they are completely married to this idea that there's domestic insurgency that wants to destroy the government. This is all they have left. They don't have any good policies, so they just operate on fear, telling everybody that racists want to take over the government.
Well, all I know is today is George Soros' birthday. I don't know. Was it today's birthday? I think it's his birthday.
I'm
90.
glad you mentioned that
Whatever.
guy.
So some people say he's bad. Some people say he's good. I heard he gave like 63 or 36 billion dollars in charity. He gave 33 million dollars to Black Lives Matter.
I think he's evil.
But George Soros, is he the problem? Is he one of the many of those people's problems that are causing us the issues? Like you just said right now, is George Soros one of these people?
Sure. I mean, George Soros is certainly funding a lot of the destructive organizations. But, it operates, sure, he gave money to Black Lives Matter, but he's also given money to the Drug Policy Institute. He's pushed for drug decriminalization. He's given money to all of these radical DAs. He has a destructive there's a destructive ideology at work.
What motivates him, do you know?
That's a really good question. He has this. I mean, look at how does he make money? He makes money by betting against countries' currencies.
Right.
I mean, remember he crashed the pound.
Correct.
So destroying things is kind of his model. I don't know. I mean, he has a very intriguing background. He grew up under the Nazis in Budapest. I don't know. I don't know what motivates him.
He profits from our demise.
He doesn't seem to love America. He doesn't seem to love the Jewish people. I don't know what his problem is.
Well, I hate George Soros. I thought at one point he was doing good, and now I see that all he is going against. I have no idea why I guess he's 90 years old and he thinks he's gone and he's going to destroy our future. But I'm going to be here to fight for our future, Seth. You're going to be here to fight for our future, and we're not going to let it go. I want to ask you a personal question. Not really personal.
Okay.
Bernie Madoff was a bad man. And also his sister and brother-in-law, by the way, this week committed suicide.
It was a murder-suicide.
I don't understand it. I mean, why? I mean, why do they continue to do that? Is Bernie Madoff a product of the Democratic left, or because we just ignored it and we wanted a guy like that to? Is that the whole theory? I mean, look at it. A guy who just was never touched, took, and I don't know, just got away with $20-30 billion of Ponzi scheming. I don't understand how we allowed that.
I never heard that he was I never really heard anything about his personal politics. I don't really see him as part of the Democratic left. I see him just as like an extremely a true gunner. I mean, and a complete sociopath. I mean, and he was another person who did not. I mean, talk about affinity fraud. Like he went after other Jews and stole. That's who he mostly went after.
Right.
I mean, he was a complete, like I said, a sociopath. I mean, he seemed to have no compunction and just cold-bloodedly had this crazy scam going on for decades. I don't know.
Let him. People gave him. People that's my point. Like de Blasio, we let him get away with stuff when we just should have gone to the Gracie Mansion, stood there day and night like the Canadians, surrounded him, never let him out of his building, and just got him out of office. But we allowed him not only to continue, but we re-elected him, and he went after us, and he did it in a way as a mayor. The Jews this and the Jews that, and the governor the Jews this. It wasn't only that. He just actually, they got away with doing stupid stuff as a mayor. And that's my point to you. The last 2 years is shocking to me of how this great city, how this great nation allowed us to, embarrass ourselves to the world and to ourselves. I don't know.
Well, they convinced everybody that this is that everybody's racist and that we had to do this in order to make things better. And it just made things worse.
So I want to tell you something. We have a drug problem in this country, and instead of us going after drugs and, like you said, the crime problem, we're too busy helping people and fighting people who go into restaurants and arresting them for not having a COVID shot. I heard today of a store that said if you have a mask, you can't be served at my restaurant. And the people on the block, the other restaurants, are so happy because they're losing, they're gaining their other
Their losses, their gain.
right. The other people's losses. But I'm so proud of this restaurant because they're protesting and also showing up as protests. I think it's a cool thing that, and they're not breaking the law. What do you say about that, Ezra? Is it the law that you can't now? You
Actually,
can't
you want to know something? Think about it. If I'm coming into a store, theft, robberies, all these things, I'm demanding that you take off your mask for my own safety. This is my business. I don't want you to wear a mask.
Or stand outside.
You can come and rob. Could you imagine today's day and age, you can walk into a bank with a mask?
I know.
It's crazy.
Not only you could, you're supposed to. You're expected to.
In court,
you have to wear a mask.
In a court, they make you take off your hat.
But not a
and if there are people that are wearing it for religious purposes, they have to literally sometimes argue with the judge or the court officers. And now you can walk in with a
you must wear a mask.
You must wear a mask, which is basically, almost the same shape as a skull cap, except you're wearing it on your face. So now instead of wearing it on your head, you wear it on your face.
By the way, nobody knows how to wash those. Nobody knows how to wash.
Bothers washing them.
Nobody knows how to wash them. They never come out clean, and there's more disease being spread. What do you think about the masks?
I mean, I think it's really getting extremely old. I mean, I can't stand flying. I can't stand going anywhere where you have to have one on. I pretty much just try to ignore it as much as possible, and I pray to God that it goes away soon. It just seems it's completely insane. I think everybody knows it doesn't do anything. It's like some crazy signal that everybody has to make that they're on the right side, and it's completely idiotic.
Well,
I agree with you.
Our show is coming to an end, so I want to ask you to give us your statement on two things. One, I know you say that New York is not lost and we're going to come back. Do you believe that we're really in your heart, truly in your heart, do you believe that we're going to come back? And item number two, before you leave us and say goodbye to us, I forgot what the next question is I want you to tell us, give us some words of inspiration. Give us something with all your experience and knowledge that you've seen going on. Tell us something, anything that they'll tell us that the next few years are going to be good, because I don't see it. I don't see without fighting these idiots.
Well, I'm going to combine the two statements into one, which is that New Yorkers are very resilient. I think New Yorkers have common sense, and that if they pull together and they commit themselves, we can pull ourselves out of this downward spiral. But it's not going to be like an automatic thing. The enemy is arrayed against us. They have dug themselves in. They've been working overtime, and New Yorkers are going to have to wake up a little bit, but I think we can do it.
Wow, I like what you said. The enemy has dug in, and we have to fight back. Last question, I'm going to let you go.
Did you start your next book?
Did you start your next book?
I have something in the works, and you'll be the first to hear about it.
You better. Do you like Trump? You think he'll come back? Forget you like him. I don't want to hear that because I don't want to upset you. Do you think Trump is coming back in the next election?
I think it would be good if Trump... I think, you've got kings and you've got kingmakers, and I think maybe the time is now for Trump to be the kingmaker and to pass the torch and to sort of, be the guy in the background. I think maybe the time, I'm not sure that running for president is the best thing for him or the country at this point, but I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Seth, you're wonderful. May God bless you. I love your book, The Last Days of New York, a reporter's true tale. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. It's a great read. It's an easy read. It's so, I mean, you actually talk to regular guys like me in this book, and it's like I actually understand. I mean, I'm just a regular guy from the street. Sometimes it gets too complicated. You tell it to the way it is. You tell it to straight. You're like talking. I felt reading your book like you spoke to me, and I'm so happy to have spoken to you, Seth. May God bless you and your family and your mother-in-law.
Thank you for coming on the show.
And COVID is gone. You watching the summer. I'm going to be I'm losing weight now. I'm on a diet, so I will finally wear a bathing suit at the beach. Bye, Seth.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Seth. Thank you.
Good night, Seth.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And here comes our music as always. Thank you. I love you. Sawyer, you were great. You were wonderful tonight.
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
talk a lot. How come there's no music on the show? Come on, music man.